Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing a Land Rover Defender, and I want to answer one big question in today's video. Is now the best time to buy a Defender? Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehi, Utah for giving me some time with this Defender. They have a really solid inventory of Defenders right now, so if you're interested in one, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Jordan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. The Defender has three different powertrain options. You have a 2-liter 4-cylinder, a 3-liter inline-6, which is what this has, and then you can also get a 5-liter V8. Now, I think this 3-liter inline-6 is the best powertrain to get. First off, it puts out 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. It gets decent fuel economy for the fact that it is in a block of cheese, right? And yeah, just good power overall, so I think this is the powertrain to get. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, this one has the 110 decal because it has the Explorer pack, and then you guys can see Defender down below. And then we have the Defender's signature headlights, which are really cool. I like how it's all blacked out. And then same thing here at the bottom, it's all blacked out as well. Notice X Dynamic badge there and parking sensors in the front with fog lights. And putting it all together, this has that cool boxy off-roader design. Now, coming on the side here, our turn wheel setup is 275, 45, 22 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see the wheels completely blacked out to go with the theme with this Defender. Now, you do get these big chunky fender flares as part of the Explorer pack and also mud flaps. I will say it is a little bit dorky on this one. You've got like the gloss black and then you have the matte black from the added fender flares. Kind of an interesting thing. Anyways, Defender here on the side, then you guys can see the mirror caps also blacked out. And then you've got the storage here on the side that's also a part of the Explorer pack. And look at that, we also have the cool roof rack system. Anyways, putting it all together, here is your full side view of the Defender with the Explorer pack, and again, it just looks like it's ready to go adventure. Now here's a quick look at the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, and then that's just the unlock for the tailgate, and then you guys can see the lights and then Land Rover. And popping into said rear, so you guys can see it's all connected just like the Mercedes G-Wagon, which is really cool, says Defender there. And then since this is a 110, you've got tons of storage here in the back. You can also get the 130 now, which has more space. You can also get the third row. Well, that has a third row with it, rather. But yeah, really practical here in the back. And then you have these controls to raise and lower the rear end because this is equipped with air suspension. And closing this is always fun. Love the taillights on the Defender. Then you guys can see P400. Parking sensors in the rear. We also have a recovery point, and then you guys can see the spare tire in the back. And putting it all together, let me know your thoughts here on this Defender with the Explorer pack in terms of the looks. Now, popping inside, I love this interior color. It looks so cool in contrast to the white. And then you can see with the seats, you have this trim here, and then notice perforated all down the center portion. Now, the Defender's got good space here in the back. We also have a little storage net. We've got our own climate zone back here. It's little USB ports as well. And then we also have our cup holder armrest. And then last but not least, headroom's good. Oh, and we of course have the Alpine lights. Now, taking a look at the front door panel again. With the brown, love the look of that, and then I love the rivets here on the door panel. All of our window controls, and then we do have our mirror adjustments and memory seat functionality. Speakers for the Meridian sound system, blind spot monitor with the mirrors, and we got a snorkel because Explorer pack. That's another cool part of it. And then here are the front seats. You guys can see again with like the cloth mesh there, and then notice perforated down the center. Power adjustments there on the side, parking brake, and then again look at that trim in there too. It looks nice. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, all blacked out for the most part, except of course you got Defender there in the center, and then you got stuff like your cruise control here, heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel, and then some controls for the center stack as well. And I love the spoke design with it. It looks really cool. And then you can see the stalks there on the back. And then take a look at the gauge cluster. This one has the half analog, half screen gauge cluster, which still has a lot of functionality with it in terms of being able to go through and see different bits of vehicle information. Now, we do also have a 360 camera system with this, and then it does fill in underneath the Defender as you move, which is really cool. Trajectory lines, by the way, do turn with the steering wheel, and then you got like even an off-road view and then tow view, so like just shows you different information as you put the camera system in those. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment screen, this is the smaller unit. This is what my wife and I have with our Defender, and I can tell you it's really easy to use. Response time is great with the screen. This one has the air purification system, which is pretty cool. But yeah, really easy system to use, and I like the fact that you can see the elevation. Now I love this on the dash, how it goes across, and by the way, even this part is soft touch, which is cool. But yeah, it's like a leather grab handle basically, and then notice Defender right there, and then you get the USB shifter for that 8-speed automatic, and then we've got our climate controls, dual zone climb with the radio control right next to it, adjustment for the air suspension, hill descent control. You also have your low range as well, and then by the way, that adjusts the fan speed, which is cool, and you can push it in for the seats to adjust those, and then this is your drive mode select. So lots of controls built into those little dials. Then some more USB action here, and then you guys can see again soft touch on this side with the exposed rivets, some cup holder action, and then got the center console with the wireless phone charging pad in front. And then yeah, look at the trim here on the top, which is nice. And then we do have glove box as well. And then up top we got our controls here for the panoramic sunroof. Okay, so here is our window sticker for this. You guys can see 2023 Defender. Base MSRP $72,300. We've got quite a few options, including the Explorer pack. Total MSRP $91,005. And with that being said, let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, which you have blind spot monitoring. Control the rest of the rear, and let us set off. So this is a really weird thing, but because I review so many cars, I always like have a pretty good sense of texture and stuff. They've changed this material. I don't know what this is made out of now, but this is different than what it used to be in the Defender. Like it's different definitely from our Defender, what it has. So I don't know what, and I've noticed the same thing in now I'm not well, whatever, we'll just go with it. I've noticed the same thing in some product from Stellantis, like the Ram TRX, for example. I reviewed one and the dash was not the same leather it was before they changed, and this feels similar to that. So I don't know if there's like this new synthetic leather that everyone's using. I think that is quite possible, but I will say, you know, we'll see how it holds up over time. You know, I'll be interested to review cars that have this material, you know, in the next 3 to 5 years and see if they're still, if it's still holding up well, if that makes sense. But anyways, aside from me being a material snob, I suppose, and like just perfectly knowing all of the materials and everything, let us actually talk about how this Defender drives. So ride quality is really good. Again, this has the air suspension. Now this does have the 22s, and the 22s look great. The downside with them is you don't have as much sidewall on the tires, so that is going to cause for there to be a little bit more to come through with the suspension, because bigger tires kind of act as like a, you know, secondary shock absorber basically. But overall it drives well. Aside from that, yeah, I'm thinking a lot about the Defender is the unibody construction means that, you know, even though this has like a big tank like feel, it handles better than, you know, body on frame SUVs with, you know, solid rear axles. This has independent suspension front and rear for those of you that are wondering. And like I said, the inline six, and you can hear it through the snorkel here. I'll open up the window a little bit so you guys can hear us better. Listen to this. It's cool. It's cool to hear the blow off. That's like literally the snorkel's worth it just for the sound. It's obviously there to help out if you're in the desert and you have a bunch of dust. It's actually not for water. People think it's for water. It's for dust, so that you don't get a bunch of dust into the intake. But anyways, love the inline six. It's the engine I recommend. What I've noticed between this and the V8 is like the V8 is faster on the top end, but like around town and especially at higher elevation here, you don't really notice a difference between this and the V8. Not nearly as much as you would think, because the V8's also a lot heavier. So yeah, I still think this is the powertrain to go for, my personal opinion. V8 sounds cool though, right? But anyways, let's get into the whole premise of this video. Is now the best time to buy a Defender? I think that now is the best time to buy a Defender since it was released, because the Defender was released for the 2020 model year, right? Right when the whole pandemic stuff started happening, where you've got supply chains and all that kind of stuff. And so what that means is this is the first time that Defender availability has been good. Like, you can go into a Land Rover dealership today and you can leave with a Defender today. You don't have to order one and wait for one to come in, you know, for like 6 to 8 plus months. I mean, like, I remember when we ordered our Defender, I think that, I can't exactly remember the exact order date, but I feel feel like I remember we ordered it sometime in like the middle of 2022, maybe like early middle, if that makes sense. And then we took delivery in January of 23. So like we had to wait quite a bit of time to get it. But now, like, this is literally not the exact same spec we have, but it's got the Explorer pack and everything, and you can pick it up today. So I think that's cool. I think that's also means that, like, yeah, there are some Land Rover dealerships that are still marking up their cars. If you guys don't know, Lehigh never does over MSRP. But that is going to also kind of get rid of those markups for those Land Rover dealers, because it's like they've got a lot of inventory, right? They don't have the pricing power that they did in the past. So yeah, with that being said, I think that now really is the best time to get a Defender. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me about the Defender, and I think that a big reason as to why people are interested now is because, like, it's finally attainable. Like, you can get one today, and those markups that we saw over the course of the pandemic, they're pretty much gone at this point. Some dealers are still holding out, and shame on them, but you know, let me know your thoughts on the Defender, and let me know if you think now is a great time to buy. But I'd say that with lots of inventory available, I think that that's always a good time, because that means that it's more of a buyer's market, right?